Good evening, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube land. I am Deleted Scenes, and I would like to welcome you to the other side of midnight. Already in the chat, last call with Troy Pacelli leading the Geeky Geezers raid. Some guy named Pacific 414. Never heard of him, officer. I do not know who this man is that you're seeking. Baron Orman Tagge, Phantom Legacy. Whether or not he's one of the barons from Into the Badlands, we don't know. We'll find out. All right. I want to welcome everyone watching this simulcast, including the toxic gunslinger himself, Jedi Bill. We've been planning this show since 11:30. No. All right. I do have my guests waiting patiently backstage. I've clowned around long enough. Now the real clown show is going to begin. I'm going to bring them on. The first man here, Baron Orman Tagge.
Lies. I have not been waiting patiently, and it's not yet midnight where I'm at, so there.
Cashmoney007.
Yep, it's not midnight here either.
But you notice one thing. Though. Pacific and I said hi in the chat. This guy doesn't.
I gotta be a rebel, dang it.
I know. You're a rebel. You rebel.
Yes.
And hello to Bucky's Crafting.
Hey, Bucky.
And
Hello, Bucky.
the man, the myth, the legend, Pacific 414.
Good evening to those of you on the West Coast and in Central Time, and good early morning to those of you here on the East Coast.
Mm-hmm. He is a myth. That's all.
Yeah.
Well, it's time to make the myths. Well, gentlemen, first things first, thank you all for agreeing to come on the show.
Yeah.
Thank you
No
for the
problem.
invite.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Yeah. I was looking forward to it since you suggested it about half hour ago or whatever when you see you're planning the show and you sent us a text and said, "Hey, can you come on, guys? Are you asleep yet?"
And okay, good show. It's over. Good night. No, okay.
Hey, okay. Night, everybody.
First things first. I of course was the guest on Pop Talk this Wednesday. And I thought I would return the favor and bring you all on. And now that Cash Money is back from his self-imposed hiatus,
Yeah.
glad that you are back up and around and broadcasting again.
Yeah.
Well, he did get to Assassin's Creed finally. That's why. So.
Yeah,
well,
the Assassin's Creed flu, right?
there you go.
You know it.
And gentlemen, please keep one hand free because my stalker is here.
Oh,
Lady V Elements. Good evening, guys. Good. Just watching from the window. I have no doubt. I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's why she screamed. She looked in the wrong window. She looked in the one I was at. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Saw that bag of Cheetos and that stack
my boxer. I'm wearing boxers, they're not tidy whities, but they have the hearts on them. Sitting up, make sure eating some Cheetos. Yeah, I'm sitting back relaxing, man. Yeah. It's supposed to be a chill stream, right? So I'm chilling, man.
You're gonna need more than hands. Okay.
Yep.
Ooh,
and you got that right. Yeah, it is Vash. From
Right on. Cool.
Well, that's why that's why I like this one because everyone might not know it, but Cash has his own stalker right there. See, dresses up like him and everything. We've had to put out.
Not again.
Yeah,
Cash for Wish.
That's Cash from Wish.
That's so funny that's an actual police officer.
It's an actual. Yeah, that makes it even funnier.
It is. It's just it's just funny. Like
Yeah.
going up to. Did you ever watch Trigun? Do you know what Vash is, or do you know who Vash is?
Yeah. He's like the head of the constable or whatever they call it over there in Britain there. So at the town she's in. So it's like, oh yeah, poor Cash.
All right.
I just
Jason
find
Fox.
Found that.
Hey, don't get
The
excited.
Norwegian contingent.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, it's a sausage party tonight, gentlemen. All right.
Yeah, he hears sausage party, he gets excited. So settle down there, Jace. Settle down.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, he does.
All right. Well, okay. First things first, we'll start out the show with the question that I always ask, and this is going to be for Mike. How did you? What is your YouTube origin? How did you join this Manson family players that is YouTube?
Well, that's one way to phrase it.
It started with me watching channels like Geeks and Gamers, Doomcock, Gary from Nerd Erotic, Ethan Van Sciver, Eric July, and liking what they're doing, and having a few videos on my old channel before, which was named Pacific Forum 4, but I took it down at one point because I just had a knee-jerk reaction to COPA, which is basically the organization that protects children and against content that may not be suitable for them as far as language is concerned and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, wait a minute. A lot of my videos I ended up cursing because at the time I was recapping Chicago Cub games, and well, yeah. Some of those games didn't go the way I would have liked. So there were some editions of my first show called The Box Score, where I said a few 4-letter words. I said a few things, not holding back.
Typical Cub fan.
And then it got to a point where after I had originally deactivated the original channel, I went, no, I like this too much. I'm going to restart it. So I started doing the box score again. Still occasionally having some rants after Cub games, but then I'm thinking, you know what? I like what Doomcock does. I like what Gary does. I like what Geeks and Gamers does. But I want to get my own voice out there. So it was back in 2021, August of 2021. Hard to believe it was that long ago. Yeah. But I decided, you know what? I'm going to start my own show. And I was trying to come up with a name for it. And I wanted to have Pacific Forum 4 in there to, keep the association with the channel. So I was thinking, okay, Pacific Forum 4, but Pacific Forum 4 what? Is it going to be entertainment talk? Is it going to be runs his mouth? Things like that. And then I was thinking, no, pop talk, because I'm going to be talking pop culture, entertainment, and video games and comics. And then eventually, I added anime to the mix and also collectibles to the mix. And of course, while that was going on, even before Pop Talk came about, I was also doing gaming streams and, just enjoying doing my gaming streams. And of course, Baron and Cash, it's true. It's true. I end up dying a lot of times when I play games, but there is one thing that you do see me do when I'm playing a game. I do eventually get through it.
You do, man.
Yeah,
you
and he has fun.
progress, and you don't give
Yeah.
up, and that's something that there are a number of YouTubers who do. They give up. You get better at the game. That should be always the point. You set good goals for yourself, and you want to beat the game, and you want to discover other things in the game that I've seen, and yeah, I think that's cool.
Hey, I'll get into his glory.
I love it.
But it was just thanks to Doomcock, especially because watching what he did and talking about things like what's going on with Star Trek Discovery, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, you're right, Doomcock. The show bites. but still, I wanted to get my own word and voice out there, and I had a few people in mind that I wanted as co-host, and tried it out, and some of them were reliable, and then things came up in their personal life where they had to drop out, and then others were unreliable. So as 2021 went along, I meet people like the Nerporeal Life Form. I actually meet Baron on a member stream of Doomcocks. As it continues to go on, I end up meeting Cash when we were doing Tuesday Night Trek with Master Paul of the Star Wars guys. That's what he was known as at the time. And now he's just Paul of Fandomology. And we just all three seem to hit it off. Whether it was on stream, whether it was off stream, we seem to have a dynamic going. And I can remember when I was having my 100th subscriber stream, and Baron asked if he could be on, because again, we had gotten to know each other prior to Tuesday Night Trek on Doomcock's member stream. So it's like, yeah, you come on, man.
And I was known to whore myself out. I'm still am too.
And it seems like ever since that 100 subscriber stream, we've created a team, essentially. Because that's where it really started to kick off with the three of us. And then, Baron and Cash would be invited to Pop Talk, say, hey, you guys want to come on for a little bit? And also, when I started Pop Talk, there were open panels each and every edition of Pop Talk. That eventually went down to 2 open panels a month, and now it's to only 1 open panel a month. And I'll admit, it's because there have been some issues. And Cash and Baron are well aware of some of the issues that we've had. And I said to him, I don't want to get rid of the open panel, but I have to come up with something. So I reduced it to...
And I said, I'm sorry.
It wasn't you, Baron. You know that.
I know.
No, I keep telling you, Jace. No.
Oh no.
Please don't. Please don't.
It's not right, Jace. Why do you do this to your mother and I?
Hey, at least he didn't say. At least he's not going to put on his weenie. Let's be thankful for that. Okay?
And here I was hoping this wouldn't get ugly.
No, it gets ugly with us. I tell you that.
Damn it. My channel, my beautiful, beautiful channel.
Yeah.
Well, when Jace is loose, 300.
Do not encourage him, V.
Yep, that's right.
But, you were saying,
getting back to having 1 open panel per month because of issues, that wasn't the only thing that ended up happening. I knew I had to add some rules to it to add more control, because some people would just come on and they would run roughshod. It's like, no, I need to have more control over what happens on this stream, especially when Cash, Baron, and we talk about different articles that we see, because we read the headlines and say, do you want to talk about this on Sunday? Do you want to talk about this on Wednesday? And we want to keep the line moving, keep everything structured. So it's like, no, there needs to be some guidelines, and yeah, it ticks some people off, but they're here to stay. But my main goal for YouTube is to create a place where everybody is welcome. That's why I start off everything I do by saying welcome one and all. It doesn't matter if it's Pop Talk. It doesn't matter if it's a game stream. It didn't matter if it was the box score. It all started with welcome one and all, because everybody is welcome. All I ask them to do when they come onto an open panel is behave yourself. You behave yourself, you follow the guidelines. I wouldn't have to issue strike 1, strike 2, or strike 3 to you. That's simple. And I've told Baron and Cash this, that we do have a good dynamic, and I don't want to change that dynamic by adding a fourth wheel. Because I think if we add a fourth wheel, it's going to ruin the dynamic that we've created. Yes, Pop Talk started off with just me, and then adding a few other people. But I found my team, because we are a good team. Whether we're on Pop Talk, whether we're on Baron's channel talking about Babylon 5 on Saturdays, or we're with Cash doing a Friday night game stream. We're a good team.
Yes. Yep. And then we've brought in more people, and they're having fun too. So it's always about having fun, and it's fun moving around different channels and rotating from Baron talking about Babylon 5 to going on Mike's channel, either if we're doing a gaming stream or even on my channel we're doing something. But we found some games that we like, and it's not just us talking about games either. We talk about a lot of stuff. So
I miss harassing him in the voice chat when he's playing a game.
Well, I've told these guys why I don't have my Discord open when I play the game. It's because I'm going to be concentrating on what I'm doing in the game, and I'm going to be ignoring them in the chat, and I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
Well, no, but you was before we used to be in the voice chat and harass you in the voice chat.
Well, he'll do it again if he wants to. I don't know. It just depends how focused he is. Cuphead is one of those games that it's probably not the best idea to have other people in the VC, because you need to concentrate so much.
You do need to concentrate in that game. It's like when I played War for Cybertron on hard for the first time. I played it on easy, I played it on normal, but this was the first time I was playing it on hard. I needed to be able to concentrate. And yeah, there were times I cursed, and I was like, you freaking game, come on.
He did. My poor ears.
But you're going to get real from me. I'm not going to sugarcoat things. If there's something on my mind and it needs to be said, I'll say it. It's like the other day, Baron's all, well, I don't want to say it. And I just said, come out with it, Baron, say it. But I don't want your channel to get demonetized. I don't care. Say it. Say what's on your mind. Say your piece.
I open my mouth and beep.
That's fine. I'm looking at the chat is sort of jumping ahead of us here. Christine Hurt, first time I'm seeing her in the certainly in my chat. So just to mention tonight, no ladies on the panel. there have been female guests before, and one of these days I'll do like a ladies' night and see how many ladies I can get to come on. But as of tonight, no, it's going to be just the guys tonight, unfortunately. But no, as far as women being on the show are concerned, hey, the more the merrier.
Listen to Hefner, I tell you.
Hey.
Well, you know what? It goes along the line with Pop Talk too, Baron. It's everybody's welcome.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
If you want to come on to Pop Talk, send me a DM, and more than likely, I will send you an invite. I've done that. It doesn't matter if we've streamed on YouTube or on Wednesdays where we do 2 hours over on YouTube and Rumble, then the third hour just on Rumble. I've sent people invites saying, "Hey, come on."
And good night, Bucky's Crafting. Thank you for joining. The show is being simulcast on Pacific 414's channel and on the Baron's channel. Please make sure to give us all a like and say hello in the comments, shout out the stream, and all that good stuff. All right. You were saying. Go ahead.
But I want the channel to be a place where everybody knows that they're welcomed, that they can come on and say their piece. But again, I'm going to keep emphasizing that when we have the open panels, we do have a structure. We do want to be able to get through the articles, maybe not as quickly as possible, but within a reasonable amount of time. Because there's one thing I say for Pop Talk is sit back, relax, and join the conversation. Whether you're in the chat, on the panel, you're a part of the conversation. And I just want people to know you're always welcome.
All right. And with that, we'll go over to the Baron. What is your origin story, sir? Yes.
Well, me? Oh, jeez. Oh, wow. Everything blurs into one thing. Really, I mean, if you would have told me like 5 years ago I'd be on YouTube, I would have laughed in your face because I had a lot of fun making fun of my my kids, because they'd be watching the YouTube and I make fun of what they're watching and such like that. I didn't take YouTube serious because YouTube came out. It was one of those things where it was the rabbit hole type of thing. You look at something and before you know it, you start with, oh, we're going to look at the countdowns old stations had. Before you know it, it's the ancient Mesopotamia sacrifice rituals or whatever. And it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's how I viewed YouTube. Really, I didn't view it as anything that was a viable thing. I mean, yeah, I heard of people like PewDiePie and stuff like that, but I didn't. It's like, okay, yeah, Skippy, sure. But kept on getting encouraged by not just my kids, but my lovely long suffering. You should do something. You should do something on there. And it's like, what am I going to do? Honestly, what am I going to do? And he said, well, you can talk about this, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And it's like, nah. Well, cruising along YouTube one time, and I came across this crazy guy wearing a mask, and he has this floating Cthulhu monster in a tank, and it's like, what the hell is this? And it's like I start watching it, and it's kind of rather entertaining. Now, at this time, I've been kind of jaded. I never said anything going wrong with a good sacrifice. I'm just saying, I came across that. But because people like Mike Zero out there, who's about the only person I on the air make fun of, because I do have a rule. You don't go after other YouTubers. Mike Zero, that's a different matter. But his clickbait sensationalism is kind of whatever. But Doomcock was like, well, this is entertaining. And then of course he had his Friday Night Frolics, and it's like, wow, this is So this is quite fun. This is more than just this guy going out there saying, I have a person on the inside. Put on this great show on Friday nights, and of course the people in the chats and such, and became involved in that in the chat, obviously, and that's where I met Brandon, the anime guy, of course, Mike here, as well as a few others, Mexican Iron Man, uh, the list goes on, and it's like, okay, well, maybe I can. I'd been suffering from back pain. I couldn't do my old job anymore, and I was having problems even doing some of the others. And I was still trying to get back in the radio. And it's like, going this, if I can't get in the radio, I'm going to start my own. Sail the high seas over the airwaves. There we go. Certain words they get upset with. And I was like, I know where I can get an FM transmitter, because I was in radio once before. I went to broadcasting school, all that fun, happy horse hockey. And it's like, well, maybe, just maybe, I can do something here. And I started doing my shorts. Of course, I was, before I really started doing a lot of that big time, Brandon, when he had his first channel, invited me on to be a guest on his anime talk, which I was, that was the first time I was ever invited on something that wasn't a member stream. And it's like, well, geez, this is fun. Of course, Brandon was the first guy I really talked to when it came to a member stream, and he's going through all this stuff about, okay, yeah, just be when it was on Dupcock, just relax, be yourself, blah blah. It's like, yeah, I'm being polite. Yeah, I know, I've been there I've been on the airwaves a few times, yeah, but you're not going to be smarmy a-hole. But then he invited me on there. It was fun. Started doing my own shorts, and then this guy messages me, DMs me on Twix, as we'll call it. Thank you, Cash, for that.
No
and
problem.
yeah, and it's some guy by the name of 24/7. It's like, well, who the hell is this guy? And 24/7 Fusion Media started talking with him, and we're doing between DMings and stuff like that, and these conversations getting so big. It's like I can only handle so much typing, and we end up calling and talking and spending hours talking together. And eventually, he invited me to be part of the Primetime Kings of live stream. Excuse me, with Vigilante Williamson and Fat Steven at the time, and I was more than happy. That's my first show, and had a great old time there. I mean. Mike said how I got involved with them, because he remembers quite clearly from me, because I was bouncing around so much and enjoying bouncing around. I mean, I should be paying more attention to my channel, honestly. I know Mexican Iron Man yelled at me one time about that. But I just have so much fun being with other people on other people's channels. I need a producer. I really need a producer. That would help me out a little bit. But a little bit more of a sense of freedom, I suppose, or a lot more chance to ramble, get carried away. I like being the quote unquote unpredictable, crazy one in the show. That will say the most outrageous things and not get us kicked off the air. And I find that I work better with other people. I can't really work by myself. I need to play off of somebody. So when I was doing my show, it was always an interview show, just like what you're doing here, where I would talk to YouTubers and such, and even people who are just been in the chat and never really don't have a channel of their own. And and it's like not necessarily even talking about YouTubing and being a content creator, just everything in general. It's like whatever it could be: trains, planes, automobiles, Masonic Lodge. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We had all that sort of talk going on with everybody. I was lucky. Kind of had a little bit of a breakdown though, and I've shelved my show with Baron After Dark, and I'm looking to start that up again this year sometime. And of course, got back to doing the Phantomology Presents, basically discussion on Babylon 5 right now, but we'll move with other subjects if these guys want to in the near future. But I just have more fun hanging out with Mike and Cash. And don't let Cash know they said that. Oh, wait, he's here.
Too late.
He heard me. Yeah, and I kind of find it funny now that as we're going along there, instead of being known for the individual, I'm known as part of the troop, which doesn't bother me at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's it's like, oh great, we're the Three Stooges of YouTube, and that's great. It's like I want all you guys. It's like, oh great, that makes a lot more fun. Sure, I have to hear Mike's story over and over again. It's like, yeah, I heard it many times before, but I can handle that. I can handle that. Not no problem. It's like, I just tune myself out for that and hope I come to attention when it's time for me to talk. But no,
and it's funny that you mentioned that we joke about ourselves being the Three Stooges of Pop Talk. When one of the things I did add for Pop Talk on the StreamYard side was a clip of the Three Stooges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's one thing I do have to say too. I think we've got some of the best clips on YouTube, and we love playing it. We just added a couple more with the Captain Tino there, so it's just a ton of fun. When you get together with a bunch of guys like this, you're playing off of each other. Of course, yeah, there's a lot of goofing off, but when it gets serious, it does get serious, and that's what's nice about Pop Talk. In one show, you can go from one spectrum to another spectrum, in a couple breaths necessarily. When we're talking about Carlin's daughter today, and that moron that tweeted, responded to one of her tweets, and it's like, you son of a.
I didn't hold back.
I know you didn't. I didn't either. But it's like for crying out loud. But it can be all over the place, and that's what's fun. It's not predictable. I never read any of the stories, or hardly ever. About 98% of the time, I never read the stories beforehand. I want to be surprised by the stories. I want to have a genuine reaction. I don't want to be already prepared what I'm going to say, because people out there can see through that. People can see that that you're just putting on a show instead of getting that really true raw emotion, and I don't want that to happen, and I don't want to be burned out before I get on the show, because you're going over everything in your mind over and over and over again. By the time the show comes out there, it's like, yeah, whatever.
Well, that's also why my stance is, if everyone else is talking about a major topic, why do we need to talk about it when chances are we won't be adding anything new?
Right.
No. Mm-hmm. Normally not, no. Cash thinks he can, but no.
No, I will. I'll figure it out.
He'll find a way. and
I don't want to make it sound like we don't talk about the things that other people are talking about. We do, but we don't stick with it week after week, Pop Talk after Pop Talk after Pop Talk.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. You got to find a new angle, and you have to mix it up every week. Even when for example, my episode of Unscripted tonight was kind of similar to what I did last week, but I chose to go at it from a different angle to make my point by bringing up what this one person said that I thought was I kind of called somebody out on their stuff, and I did it by name, which is not something I normally do. But if you're going to do something that egregious, and make this blanket statement about a group of people, I'm going to call you out on it.
Right.
So, but if you can do that, but if you can sort of attack a subject that maybe you've talked about multiple times, and the trick is to find a way to do it in a way that you haven't done it before, that the other channels aren't doing, and it's a matter of, hey, it's just my opinion. and you can agree with me or you can disagree, but if I can, shine a spotlight on something that I think maybe the mainstream media might have missed, then that's what I'm going to do.
Well, I think that's where we have a little bit above the others, not to be tooting our own horn. We go through the entire article. Yeah, we go through the entire article, and a lot of people, well, they are on a time crunch. They're only doing like a 15-minute video, or they, for whatever reason, they just want to hit the highlights of an article. And of course, Mike goes through the whole article. I used to do the same thing on the Kings too, so it's nothing new, but it gives us a chance that we take breaks going through there and we throw in some of our commentary with it.
Yes.
And I think that helps. I think that helps, even if it's a story that's been out there, to have a little more freshness to it. Especially when it might be a story, it's been out there, but we kind of divorce ourselves from.
Well, when we were talking about Jonathan Majors, none of us picked a side.
Nope.
No.
We waited until he had his day in court, and after he had his day in court and the verdict came down, that's when we said, what we thought about it, and there's no innocent in that case. They're both guilty in one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, we were talking about if he is done this, and if she did this, and if he didn't do that, and we made it known, we're qualifying. These are hypotheses. We're not saying one way or another, and we refuse to do so. We're not going to go down that route, because that will, right there, if we start taking a side now, and everything falls apart, and that's not the case, well, what does that make us look like?
Makes us look like jerks.
Yeah. And we're being pressured by some to do it. We're being pressured. Oh, come on, you got to go out there. You got to. No, we're not going to take a side.
I have this information that you guys can talk about, and I stood my ground. I said, nope.
Yeah. Information like that is good for if Kathleen Kinney's going to get fired or not. It has nothing to do with whether a person's innocent or guilty.
The same person that had the information wanted to come on and talk about it. I said, no. No, because what if this information isn't true? Then it makes us look bad.
Exactly.
It makes us look like complete and total idiots.
Right. And all credibility out the window.
Right. Yeah. I haven't reached that point yet where there are people behind the scenes, passing me information, or at least not anything, important that anybody would make a big deal out of. Who knows? Maybe someday I'll reach that point. But that's one thing that I want to ask, since you've brought it up. I mean, have you ever been passed any kind of information from someone behind the scenes, and you just kind of either went on the air with it, or you decided to sit on it for any reason? Has that ever occurred?
Not me.
No?
Not really. People send you information, even friends of yours, and you're not always sure about the article. And sometimes you send them the article, and they're like, "Oh, this is a dumb article because of this." And then there's other stuff where even people in Bounty in the comics, there's a person that they get their information wrong. It's like, that's not true. And you call them out on it, because it's not. It's not even close to facts. That whole thing about that One Piece was such a lie. It's like, dude, that's not true.
We've even been told, you guys read a lot of articles from Bound in the Comics. You must love them. No, they had the more interesting articles, and we do criticize them.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes, but the editing can be poor. There's like words that are misspelled, and it's like, well, aren't you guys supposed to be more professional? Oh, it doesn't matter. No, it does matter. It should always matter.
Right. Well, yeah, and even when you're doing a YouTube channel, and I think I was talking to the guys earlier today. In fact, it's like I finally nailed it down that a lot of people look at this as a vanity project being on YouTube, which is all fine and dandy, except for one thing. If you view it as a uh, uh, vanity thing, you're not going to go anywhere. You're not going to take it serious. Even though we have, well, Mike's got monetized, but Cash and I aren't. But even then, we take it serious that like a real broadcast would be. We might seem very destroying. A lot of that is an act. We like to play that up. Like Mike says, there is a structure to it, and but the thing is we are professional looking, not professional, which shows that we're professional.
Right.
Try to figure that logic out, folks. But the thing is,
as I've always said, Bear, and you know this very well. Cash knows this very well, and Steven's audience may not know it. I do like to have fun on my streams. I do like to joke. Even if they're bad jokes, I do like to joke. Because we can't be serious and monotone all the time. Well, today we heard that there's going to be another Top Gun movie. How do you guys feel about that?
Guys, it's over.
It's over. That's the other thing. Like I don't like that whole thing. Like, yes, we can go and be like, yeah, it's over. It's done. All right, guys, hold on. Here's your glass. All right, cheers, guys. Star Wars is dead. This is dead. This is dead. And it's like, that's just your opinion. I mean, if you want to believe that, that's fine. But things can always start being fixed. It just depends if people care enough. That's always been the case. I hate that attitude about, well, it's dead. It's this. But there are sometimes things it's like you've ruined this character so much, or you've ruined this show so much, or you ruined this movie so much, or this franchise, that I don't know how you guys can come back from it. There'll probably still be some good stuff in there somewhere, but a lot of this other stuff, no. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is.
And the thing is Mike has it absolutely right too. It has to be fun. And I think we do all have fun on the show. The moment it's being fun, you might as well just call it the end. Why go out and do something like this if you're not having fun?
Exactly.
Even if it is a vanity project.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're that narcissistic that you got to keep on the air so your face is out there, well, you got some problems. And I'm not saying we don't have egos, but everyone that does this has an ego, whether or not you have it in check.
Right, of course.
And you kind of have to have one, but as it goes, the big thing is, are you having fun? Just like Mike, the guy who asked me, he's like, "What's your intention of being a YouTuber?" And I said, "I want to have fun. I want to go out there. I want to experience, talk to people, be part of this." And he says, "You got the right attitude," because I know he was so used to people saying, "Oh, I want to get rich."
Right.
I'm gonna get rich. I'm gonna be
silly. It doesn't matter if you're on Twitch, if you started on Twitch or on YouTube. The whole thing is silly. Even if you started in 2016, like I did on Twitch, it doesn't matter. Like, and other YouTubers who are bigger than you, or Twitch streamers that are bigger than you, a lot of them will tell you always the same thing. Don't get into this for money. Start building your channel. And a lot of people have the same feelings. It's like, why would somebody want to hear me? What is the point? I'm nobody. Oh, well, these other people did it. So, like, why do you? And when people come into your channel and they want to listen to you about stuff, and you should always try to bring some kind of new knowledge to the situation, to the subject.
Right. And it doesn't mean we don't want to make money. I mean, if they started throwing us money tomorrow, we'd be all happy. But we know it's not going to happen. So what are we going to do?
No, that can't be the only thing you have in mind.
Right. Exactly.
There's one guy who I do look to for advice, and he gives everybody free advice on Wednesdays on his channel, and that's Stone Loki on his YouTube talks.
Right.
And he has given some very good advice. If you want to start a YouTube channel, or even if you have a YouTube channel, these are the do's and don'ts.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And the amazing thing is also, and I brought this up before, people don't pay enough attention to their chat. It's important. I don't care how big your channel is. You should do the best you can to pay attention to your chat. Unless you're doing a speed running, then you have to focus all the time. I get that. But other stuff, no, you should. If you're doing a talk with the chat or you're playing a game or whatever, people need to pay attention to their chat. And the other thing is, it's also amazing to me that other YouTubers, doesn't matter how big they are or small they are, they forget about you need to be a leader and pay attention to things. It's important. And when other people say, "Oh, that's work," and that's this, yes, it's work. Welcome to the world.
Oh God, they obviously don't know broadcasting. I tell you.
Gosh.
Oh my word.
Of course, this stuff is work. You want to prepare, even when you're playing a game. Oh man, I don't want to go on this game and go through the same thing 100 times and not figure this out. Like, it gets frustrating. So I got to go offline, and people go. And a lot of people, I'm sure they won't do that because it's work. Well, you want
it
to
is
get better
work,
at
and
this stuff.
you're gonna run into
This is what
hiccups.
you have to do.
A few weeks ago, we were planning to play Darktide, and we were having issues trying to get the game to show properly through Streamlabs and also OBS.
Yep.
And it turns out that it's because of one setting in the game. It decided it wasn't going to transmit to OBS. It wasn't going to transmit to slubs without that particular graphics setting. It's like, oh, come on! But you're gonna run into stuff like that as a live streamer. You're gonna run into issues. I've run into issues more than I can count on both hands.
What was that?
I don't know what that
fire alarm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
All right.
We're hot.
We're
That's
good.
why. Right now, deleted scenes is out rolling around in the grass, getting the flames out. We're good.
He's like, it's all right. We're fine.
I'm alive.
Well, yeah. I mean, of course you got to work on it. Who's gonna give? You got to give a person a reason to want to watch you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're not gonna do that decency to work for it, then they're not gonna watch you.
Yep, and
like,
even
and you are, it's like,
yep, and even some of these streams, like when people actually make you feel uncomfortable, it's like, why am I on the stream? Or you're on a stream, and it's not that you want to talk all the time, because that's not good either. But it's like, wow, I'm on this stream, and this person asked me no questions. Like, this person's not prepared. And even when you don't know a subject matter and you're going on another stream, or you're going to talk about it on your own stream, like, do some research. It's always important, but people forget that. Oh, why would I do that? Or even people, I've had people in the past on Twitch and YouTube. It's like, well, you're better than me. You're this. It's like, dude, that's not what this is about. And why are you trying to make this stream about yourself? And Mike and I have seen this, and so has Baron, deleted scenes. And we're just like, why do these people keep trying to make the stream about themselves? It's ridiculous. Just have fun. Get to know people. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, we specifically this end of YouTube, where we're at, is about conversation. We're doing like you're like the Larry King of old, when Larry King had his night show before Art Bell took over, and that was when Larry King was the king back in that time when he was in radio.
Right.
I mean, he was absolutely fantastic. The biggest mistake he made was going to CNN and going on television.
That probably wasn't the best idea.
It was not, yeah. But
CNN was better back then, but whatever, yeah.
True. But even then, he has a face that was made for radio. I got you. Yeah. But when you have a program like this where it's interview and you talking, you want to have conversation. And who is your audience? Well, the people who are in the chat. And in many ways, you have to view them as the fact that these people are calling in. These are people are calling in and go, I have a question for something or whatnot. It's just, instead of someone calling on a phone, they're doing it in obviously texting in the chat there. sometimes you can't get to it all. Obviously, you want to try, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes you get the trolls, and it's like, okay, great, yippee skippy. That's the joys of it all. But that's how you have to look at it. It's not all about you, especially if you're hosting a program, say like this. It's about your guest,
right?
And you want a guest to make you look good, which means you want them to talk. You want them to be engaging. You want them to have anecdotes or good stories. They don't necessarily need to make you laugh. It just keep you fascinated. I mean, it helps to have a laugh or two, I think. But
it does.
Think about the old Johnny Carson show before modern talk shows ruined what talk shows were all about. Our Tom Schneider, or even David Letterman back in the day when he was actually good on NBC. Before you guys knows how to join. I mean, the Halcyon days. I suppose you can even throw in Arsenio Hall too. But it's not like anything. Talk shows not anything like they are now. They're just pathetic. They're just garbage, and it's all about now. Seems like the host. It's like that's the big mistake. Yeah, it's a Johnny Carson show. It's Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, but it was still the guests. I did my monologue. I got my bit out of the way. Now we're going to talk to the amazing Crisco or whatever, and now we're going to have fun. We're done poking fun at Ed. I'll let Robin Williams do that now. And if there's one advice I have to say is, they're out there. Go on, watch some of those old Johnny Carson shows. They're on the Shout Factory app. They're on Pluto. Sit down and just take a look what Johnny did back in the day. I'm not saying copy him, but understand what it does take to get there. And yes, it takes a lot of work. It's not going to be easy doing this. And no, it's better be for the love because he ain't going to be seeing any red cents. Enjoy the time, and that's what's great about it. That's why I see like when I get invited, I'm sure that I can say that for the other two guys here, it's an honor. It's an honor because someone is like, wow, they like us enough, they want us on their show, they ruin their demographics, they risk them getting kicked off of YouTube. Wow, you poor fool. Okay.
No.
Well, according to analytics, and I do look at the analytics, I am popular with German men between the ages of 18 and 44. I don't know what that's about, but little analytic joke, folks.
Yeah. If this was 100 years ago, I'd be a little nervous, but maybe we should be nervous now.
That's okay. Lady V's in the chat. She'll protect me. She's just upset because I'm not doing the show without pants.
Oh.
So
okay. Well, here I thought because we were doing the He-Man Woman Haters Club here. Okay. No women allowed.
Jason, down. I don't want to excite you. We're good.
Okay. It doesn't take much to excite him.
A good breeze. A good breeze excites him. Okay, let's just put it that way.
All right. Well, speaking of getting to know people, since Cash Money, you were too busy playing Assassin's Creed to bother to show up for the Wednesday episode of Pop Talk.
Yeah, to bother, right?
Yes. What was your YouTube origin story here?
You don't want to hear his story. It's boring. We want to keep it fun, right?
We had to put up with errands, but hey,
because everyone knows I'm truly the star of the show. I mean,
of course.
Yeah, sure, Baron.
And this is where I would play the Dr. Evil clip where he says, "How about no?"
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep. Youngster, out you go. Yep.
Yep, that one too.
Or I would just boot him.
Yep.
Yeah. Just
oh man.
Help, let me in. It's cold out here. There's a grizzly bear. It's looking at me that way. I'm talking about Baldar's Great 3 sort of way. Help!
But I actually started before on Twitch, deleted. But my story and that went on for a few years, and I was building a channel on there, and I learned a lot from Twitch, from different YouTubers, going to TwitchCon one year, and hanging out with some really cool people. Of course, things fall apart and things happen with family, and so it took me a few years to get back into streaming. And it's funny, it was Geeks and Gamers, just like Mike and or Baron, that it just popped up and it started inspiring me and to want to start streaming again. And so I started on the stuff like Tuesday Night Trek and with Master Paul, and then I was on the 100 subscription stream of Mike's, and Baron was there and some other people was there, a guy named Smoking Patriot, and I was like, wow, I didn't realize how much I missed this, how much I miss streaming and talking about stuff and bringing out information, hopefully that's new to people. And just from there it just kept building. And then I told Mike, I was like, hey Mike, you want some people to come on or something? Yeah dude, yeah. Okay, well let's talk about stuff. And then it just led to that, and then people like Crit, and it led to Star Wars channels deleted scenes, and then that led to other channels, and then I got to meet Jace, and then I'm working with Jace on 540, so I'm doing the Pop Talk and then 540. But it's like that's cool, but I need to have my own channel. I always have to have my own channel, and so I just kept building there, and it's like, oh, I don't know how to do these things because I never learned them on Twitch, like thumbnails. And it's like, I need to learn how to do this. This is holding me back. And so I learned how to do that, and then talked to some people, and then we had some panel shows, which I will get back to on my own channel. And then we start rotating and moving around, and we're talking about stuff. And then before that, we're watching things. It's like, hey, let's talk about it on stream. Okay, cool. So like Cobra Kai, when it was on Master Paul's stream, or when it was on my stream, we were talking about that show, The Old Man, Mike and I, and we were like, we're really enjoying this show, and not enough people are talking about this. Or Arcane, like we need more people to talk about this. These are really good shows, and it's not just like, oh, it's linked to League of Legends or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's like, this is still good. This is a good show with interesting characters. This character who was Powder turns into Jinx, and it's more like a Harley Quinn, and it's like, wow, that's cool. And where the situations go, and then we start talking about this stuff. And just like Mike and Baron, I agree with them, like, find other things to talk about, even bring back old shows, cartoons you love, whatever. Because they're still great for people who are older, not just people who are younger. And so yeah, it just keeps building. But I also would say this, like with channels, like getting involved in at least 2 channels and then your own channel, that should probably be enough, unless you want to be a guest, because you take on too much and then you're going to overwhelm yourself. Yeah. And then there's Phil McCracken, deleted, who likes to drive us insane. Yes, that's why I put hashtag he's a bad troll. And we encourage him we wanted him to have his own channel, because he's got a lot of knowledge about certain things.
He does.
Yeah.
And Christmas of 2022, he was thankful for the channel, because I don't really want the channel, but one thing we all offered him, Cash, Baron, myself, Lord Crit, and Paul of Phantomology, we said we will help you.
Yep. Yeah. And even going like Everest Productions, the things that Crit wants to do, the passion that he has, I'm happy to work with him on Star Wars things. I'm happy to work with Baron and Mike deleted. I'm happy to work with Phil on stuff. The problem is also, even some of these streamers that would come by your channel, and you can never predict that people are going to show up, or
Mhm.
because if you do, then you're just going to set yourself up for disappointment. And when people are there, ask people, how's your day going? Like, what's up? And show that you actually care. And mean it. And there's still streamers out there, after they get bigger and stuff, they forget about this. And it's unfortunate. Even the Geeks and Gamers channel, the other people, they're talking about the same subject 500 times or whatever. It's like, okay, I understand this, but then it's like they say something and it's like, but that information is wrong, guys. So just say, hey, you know what? I was wrong. And sometimes I think these bigger streamers, they don't want to admit that they're wrong anymore. They just don't.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's good. I think that this is obviously a process, and this takes time. And people who are like, "Oh, I can't do this," or I don't want to talk about this. Just start talking about something you're passionate about. See where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
As what did Gary say? Nerdrotic. He said, hit the record button and start talking.
Right.
That's what he's told people. Yeah, it's good advice.
And it's also giving advice for if you're doing the ands and ums, which I'm guilty of. Edit those parts out.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But it's all a process, and the whole thing is that don't just sit there and think people are going to show up to your channel. It doesn't work that way. And networking is always important. It doesn't matter what you do. If you're at a convention, network. If you're doing streaming, network. You're going to find people that are like-minded, and then from there it builds. And if you're going to go on any kind of stream, I can't emphasize this enough, that do your research. Don't go on there and be like, well, I read the Cliff Notes. And, like, come on. That's just stupid.
I wish I was on that stream when that happened. Oh, God.
No.
It's probably a good thing I wasn't on that stream when that happened.
It's just that's just weak. Yeah.
So, fill me in. Was it? Apparently,
this was actually a Master Paul stream. They were talking about Timothy Zahn's books.
No, they were talking about Shadow of the Empire.
If I remember, yes, was it? But it
Shadow
was Timothy Zahn, weren't they talking about that?
No,
yeah,
it was. Yeah, I don't think it was Timothy.
I think they were. Yeah, they were talking about Timothy Zahn.
Okay,
they were talking about.
Maybe I was thinking
trilogy.
something else with the Shadow of the Empire.
Yeah.
Okay. I get lost.
Heir to the Empire. They were talking about that book, and somebody comes on there and like, well, I read the Cliff Notes. It's like, why are you even on this stream?
Yeah.
What are we doing? I'm not going to give the name of the person deleted. You've probably seen him around, but I was just like, really? Did he just say that?
Well, I was asked by the Nerdporial Lifeform to be on a Stranger Things stream, and I admitted to him. I said, I've never watched the show.
Yeah.
But I was willing to watch what I needed to watch in order to catch up.
And going with the Nerdporial, for me, he asked me one time to be on an Alien panel, and I respectfully declined, basically stating I've never really been a big fan of the Alien franchise,
right?
And I would not be able to provide anything at all. That spot would be good for somebody else. It was nothing personal. It's just I would not be a good person on your panel. There's more deserving people than me.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I know things about Alien and Aliens, but it just also depends. You just don't, if you don't have that passion, it's like, well, why would I want to be on this stream? It's like you watch one episode of the original Star Trek and you're like, oh, I want to talk about this. It's like, but maybe you should watch at least 10 episodes, maybe 5. But that's research. You want to talk about Lord of the Rings, and I know people say, oh, it's work. Of course it's work, but there should be stuff that's structured. Somebody goes on to talk about Warhammer. The other person should have good questions to ask them. Even these so-called professional critics now, they ask these softball questions. Like, are you afraid to ask tough questions to these actors? You don't think they can take them? It's pathetic.
Well, not just the actors, directors, screenwriters, all these people. Of course they're afraid. Because how dare you challenge us that are coming down from on high? Don't you know
Mhm.
who I am? Yes, that's why I'm asking you this question. Enlighten us.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, exactly.
we're not trying to be a-holes here. We have inquiring
No.
minds.
Yes, like we would
Well-
like to know, like, why are you passionate about this, or why do you
Mhm.
like this,
Mhm.
or
Right.
I like somebody. The Ahsoka thing was a big hot topic with people, and some people,
Yeah.
even friends of mine that I knew, were like, "Oh, well, this guy, he's starting to bring down the mood." Well, that's not good that you think that way. Everybody has their own opinions about this.
Mhm.
Right.
I finally, when I saw The Fifth Element, it was funny. There were two people in there. They were like saying every line before I see. I'm like, guys, I have never watched this whole movie.
Yeah, we knew.
So I had to tune them out. Not
Mhm.
on purpose, but I had to tune them out so I could uh, make sure I'm clear about what's going on in the movie. And I was quite impressed with Fifth Element. I still am.
It was like Mike when he was doing Big Lebowski. I mean, yeah, it's like,
Yeah,
come on,
that's a
quiet,
very
Mike,
good,
quiet down, Mike.
fun. Right,
Mhm.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Smoking Patriot had never seen The Big Lebowski,
Mhm.
and he enjoyed it.
It's a
I
fun
hadn't either.
adventure movie. That's the way I look at it. It's a fun adventure
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, it's a movie that goes someplace but goes nowheres.
Right, exactly.
Which
It
is just
does.
fine.
Right.
Yeah, which is fine. You don't, it's all about the journey. You don't get necessarily to the end, but it's all about the journey. And
Mhm.
uh again, back to the fact that doing research and all that, and that's work. If you have a passion for it,
Mhm.
it'll go easy because you're
Mhm.
doing something you love. I mean, who wouldn't want to have for their work doing what they like? Oh, you mean, don't make me read this Star Wars novel from the
Right.
EU. Oh,
Right.
please, don't throw me in that briar patch. Don't make
Right.
me, don't force me to watch, this particular film or this television show. Oh, don't make me. I mean, people should be all excited about it, to be reacquainted with something that they watched once before, and now get different takes of it all. Of course, it's work, but it's fun work.
Mhm.
Yes.
Well, Cash brings up do your research. If we're going to
Yeah.
have a guest on our shows, then
Mhm.
we need to do our due diligence and do research on what that person talks about.
Right.
Mhm.
But more importantly, even though we do know what the answer is, ask that question anyways, because sure, our research, we might know the answer, but the person in the chats that are watching this don't.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Right.
Don't
Exactly.
assume that
No.
people know you.
Yep.
Right. Why you're on the show then? If you think everyone knows then you shouldn't really need to be here. No, this is a way to introduce you to more people, and we're more than happy to do that.
Yes.
Which means you got to explain yourself.
Mhm.
But I explain myself ad nauseum and expect to do it ad nauseum more. Just
Yep.
find more fun, exciting ways to tell the story.
Yep.
Switch it up a little bit. I mean, especially if you make it fun, you have a few laughs about it, lighthearted. It's amazing how well that goes. Change your style up a little bit. Don't change the story. Obviously, you don't want to change the story because the truth is truth. But you can change how you deliver the story,
Mhm.
and
Yep.
that's the important thing.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay, so is there?
I brought the mood down. I
Mhm.
brought
No,
the
no,
mood
no,
down.
no, no. That's all.
Oh,
Um,
I'm sorry. I'm
Well,
sorry.
Another
Very
uncomfortable
sorry.
silence.
They also, people have to understand that if they're on any of our shows, Baron's show, whatever, it's somebody goes, it's good. Well, why do you think it's good, or why do you think
Yeah.
it's bad? Like, we're going to ask you a follow-up question. I know some interviewers or people don't care about doing their job good enough. They really don't. It's like, well,
Mhm.
so why is it bad? Or they're afraid that if they ask some other follow-up question, that it's going to upset somebody. And if it upsets somebody, then that's silly.
Then why are you
So
there?
yeah,
Then why are you there?
seriously.
I mean, honestly, yeah.
It's like, if you
Yeah,
can't handle trolls and you can't handle this, then you shouldn't be streaming. I know that sounds harsh and mean, but it's the truth.
Right.
You're leading your channel. You need to learn to be a leader. And even people who are running their channels, like even some people we know, and I'm not going to give names, they're run over by other people in their VC. It's like, no, dude, you need to take control more of your channel. It's important.
Right. It's your show. It's not their show.
No.
They're watching. They're wanting to get entertained by you, or that's what there should be.
Exactly.
If they want to do it, then you start your own channel.
Yep. Exactly.
And
And if
I tell you what, I'll be your first guest and help you out. How's that sound?
Yep. You did a stream, you got about 60, 70 views and one stream, like, oh, that's cool. But what could I have done better to even get more views? Or what could I have done better to bring in more people? And a lot of people, unfortunately, don't have that mindset anymore. They're like, it's just good enough. This is the best. And I'm like, is it though?
But more importantly, when you do assessing it, you don't want to change you.
Exactly.
Or who you are.
Exactly.
It's like, okay, just like, okay, delivery or how I approach this, but it's still going to be me. Because there's a lot of people when they do hit it big time, they lose who they are.
They do.
They're not the same person that you wanted to watch before. It's like, who is this person now? And you're not interested in watching them no more because it's not what you want. Never lose who you are. Never lose that what that is inside of you. Because that's why people like you. That's why you got there in the first place.
Keep your head on your shoulders and keep your feet firmly on the ground.
Yes.
And keep your stick on the ice. Yes. That's the important thing. If you change, all of a sudden you think I have to change everything now because I'm monetized or doing this. It's like, okay, you just failed.
Yeah, exactly. You just failed. I agree. It was nice. Like Baron and I, when we were on another stream, there was Ryan Kinnell. And before Ryan left, I told him, I says, he's one of the people, just like Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, who inspired me to get back into streaming. He's like, oh, dude, that's really cool, man. I'm like, but it's true. Like, I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. It's the facts. That Geeks and Gamers channel popped up and it was like, oh, what's this? Now, of course, when these channels pop up and you keep watching them, you can get very negative, just like other people say, wow, this is really bad. What is going on with the industry? But then you start peeling the layers and you're like, okay, yeah, things are bad, but things could always be worse. And there is still some good stuff coming out. So you have to take the good with the bad.
Well, that's just it. Call me the Pollyanna of the group too, if you want. And I made a statement roughly about 2.5, now going about 3 years ago, that within that this 5-year time, our entertainment industry is going to be so changed, you're not going to recognize it. Things are the dynamics will be changed.
Right.
Our entertainment will be getting better, and we just have to wait it out.
Yep.
It's hard. It's going to feel like we're not winning. It's going to feel like we're not getting anywheres, but it's going to all of a sudden happen. It's like the shifts will happen. Our new filmmakers and storytellers are going to be coming off of YouTube. Maybe now Rumble. Now that we got Rumble out there, which is great. Competition just is a wonderful thing. It drives. It just drives creativity. But now we're seeing the glut of the streaming services. We're starting to see things that were exclusive on some going to others, which means, okay, when is either going to be the mergers or a streaming service coming to an end? Because people can't afford all these. They can't. Hollywood is hemorrhaging money left and right.
Yes, they are.
What's
They
going to
do
happen?
Some good things well, and then other stuff they don't. Yeah.
But this last year, 2023, as much as we want to bitch about how horrible 2023 is, it's just typical human nature. But you have to take a look, entertainment-wise. We're starting to see that direction switch, that direction that is shifting. We had some good films that were, and I'm not saying that these are barn burner films, but they're good films like we used to have in the old days where you went and saw a movie, when you're done, it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not the greatest thing, but I don't feel like I wasted an hour and a half.
Right, exactly.
And there are low budget films like Megan or even Cocaine Bear. You have movies that really hit you in the gut, like the Call of Freedom. Yeah.
I still
You
need to
have
watch that.
And freedom.
yeah. I have to get myself in the mindset before I can watch that. I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it, but it's just
Yeah.
like I just can't. But we also saw some of the other things. I mean, it's hit and miss with when you talk to some people. But Rogue Moon or Rebel Moon. I mean,
yes.
yeah. I mean that I liked it. It's like and I know people are upset because it's Zack Snyder and there's a love-hate relationship with him. But I mean, overall, I came away impressed. I walked in with no preconceived notions, which I think helped out there. But we had ourselves something that came out that was a universe building, trying to start a franchise. We had Babylon 5 animated film come out, which is great.
Which I still need to see.
Yeah, it is great. It is great. And we're starting to see stuff that's more palatable. I mean, even One Piece on Netflix.
Yes.
I mean, after seeing what they did with Cowboy Bebop.
It's horrible.
Of course, we have waiting bated breath with Henry Cavill doing the Warhammer 40K series.
Yep.
And the fact that he's so actively involved in that. And you're going to sit back and you're going to see these people making wrong turns. Hey, let's do She-Hulk. You have Disney obviously grasping at straws as much as possible. I know, let's try a Grogu Mandalorian film. Everybody loves Grogu. That's what you should call it. Everybody loves Grogu.
Right. And Grogu became annoying because once again he was overused, and especially with the Book of Boobaloo to do. It was ridiculous.
Which had nothing to do with Boobaloo. I mean, So we're gonna see some of this crap. I mean, take a look at Doctor Who. Doctor Who's dead. Put a fork in it, okay?
I mean, can we say it's dead? Yeah. I mean, it's.
I hate to say it. But it is. Because basically we're looking at the fact that there's probably not going to be anything more after the second season they have there. They're already looking for jobs, which is not unusual with the British because they have short seasons. But their big backers, which is Sony and, of course, Disney, well, again, they're hemorrhaging money. They can't afford to keep something that's not bringing in the ratings.
Yeah.
And the specials that they had didn't go anywhere.
No. Lowest viewership ever. Right.
Yeah. And we're talking about even back in the old show when they were having their bad times. So in many ways, we can kind of look at that as a little bit of a victory because we're getting something out of the way that's not going to be cluttering up. And I'm a big Doctor Who fan. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I adore Doctor Who. Like you can't believe. But it's like, it's time for it to go to bed. It needs to go to bed now. It needs some rest. We can bring it back some other time and ignore this nightmare later on. But it's time to put it to bed.
Yeah, I mean, I've said a number of times on my show. I'm not a big Doctor Who fan for various reasons. I never really got into it. I've tried. I've watched some episodes. It doesn't do much for me, but I understand that it does have this very rich history, and there are people who did grow up on it. And I'm saying to those people, don't give up because, all right, it's not good now, but you still have William Hartnell and you still have Tom Baker, and you have decades of material that you can fall back on. You have books, comic books. Hell, you have the Peter Cushing movie if that does anything for you. But the point is, the thing is that you have that history to fall back on that you can always go back to, and that can't be taken away from you. No. They can make all of the timeless children's that they want.
Oh God,
that can't erase. That can't erase the past, no matter how much they like. Like I can sit here all day and say that I am displeased with present day Star Wars, but I still have the OT. I still have the OT, and that can't be taken away.
Nope.
Just like with Star Trek. Yeah, we don't like the new Trek, but there's still plenty of classic Trek to watch.
Right.
Yeah.
And classic Trek now is the original series. Next Gen, I know some people can't watch Next Gen because of Picard season 3 and Picard as a whole. I understand that. I get that. There's still Deep Space Nine. 7 seasons of that, just like 7 seasons of Next Gen. You have 7 seasons of Voyager you can watch, and 4 seasons of Enterprise you can watch. And a lot of people are looking at Enterprise now and saying, "Wow, this show isn't bad compared to what we have now."
Oh yeah, Enterprise is so good. It's just that last season of Picard really put a bad taste in my mouth to be like, man, it's hard to watch. Go back and want to finish up Deep Space Nine and go back and watch older Star Trek. It's just.
And what some of the stars have been shooting their mouth off too on that show really didn't help matters much.
No.
And basically, again, insulting fans.
Yes.
And the thing is, these properties aren't dead. I'm talking about like just the present incarnations of them. They're dead. I mean, the new Doctor Who is dead. New Star Trek is dead. It just doesn't realize it's on life support yet. You know, the signals hasn't gotten from the brain to the body yet. And we do have all the others, and we can introduce our next generations to what we had, just like I was doing before. And I think, though, within 2 years now, things will be changed so much that this nightmare that we've been going through is going to be pretty much over. And they're going to actually try to do the right thing out there. Now, you know, Warner Brothers talks in one talk, and it's like, okay, that sounds good. But really, James Gunn? Huh? You really got that? You're keeping Ezra Miller? You're not going on the
keeping Ezra Miller, and that's Discovery. You know, that's Zaslav's decision. They could just gone. He should be gone.
I think it was. I think it was.
Right. James Gunn protecting him. It's ridiculous. Like, you guys are not going to get any better. And then when James Gunn saying things like, "Oh, I don't like Batman '89." Okay, well, what are you going to give us that's so much better than Batman '89? You know, I think it's ridiculous that anybody who is head of DC has the gall to say that he hates Batman '89. It's like, give me a break. All right, dude. Well, then let's see what great stuff you've done. I've enjoyed a lot of your Guardians of the Galaxy, but that was Marvel. But I didn't enjoy your third one very much. I thought it was pretty good, but overall, I liked 2 and 1 a lot better, especially 1. I didn't care much for his Suicide Squad direction. Some people were like, "Oh, I really like the Suicide Squad." Good for you. When about half that movie in, I was starting to fall asleep. And the dick jokes and the other stuff, it just was not connecting well with the story. It's like, hey, do you want to hear this dick joke again? No, I really don't.
No, and that's just it. We don't. We really don't. It's like, quit sexualizing everything. Quit making dick jokes. And
just because it's rated R doesn't mean it has to always be sexual either, you know?
Well, no, it doesn't mean you have to drop cuss words all the time. In fact, it doesn't even really need to be R-rated.
Yep. The reason that it works for Quentin Tarantino is because the way the story is. And you're like, yeah, these characters would curse a lot. They really would.
Well, yeah, because that's his universe he's doing.
Exactly.
But when you're doing with DC or Star Trek or any others, you're walking in somebody else's universe. And you have to be respectful to the ground that you're walking on.
Yep.
And you're playing in someone else's sandbox. You better respect the rules of that sandbox that were already established.
Yep, that really annoys me to hear the word fuck and shit and stuff in Star Trek. I'm like, it's so out of place. And then you have other friends who will attack you for that. And I'm like, well, good for you. But it's still out of place, whatever you think. It's ridiculous. It was so out of place in season in Picard in general. Just the cursing of fucking shit. And there's no, I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, well, even Discovery having the janitor named Gene.
Yeah.
Come on.
No.
Right. And you're treating him like garbage, and he's got to clean up the what's left of a body from a transporter accident or whatever. I can't remember.
I can't remember what the specifics were.
Being demeaning. It's like, oh, geez, what a way to think of the man who created the series that you were doing. Think
exactly. And they just don't care, and so they change all this stuff. It doesn't matter what it is. If it's Star Wars, if it's Marvel, it's all this, and they go in these directions, and you're like, this is never what these comic books were about. These were never what these characters were about, and they have to they just have to jam that agenda in there, and you're just like, man, this is lame. I mean, a lot of us used to like, I'm sure, the Marvel films. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Stuff like Winter Soldier, I would love to see something like that again.
Oh, so would I.
It was. I thought that was a great movie, and then on top of it, it tied into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you brought in Hydra. I was like, hell yeah, dude, this is awesome.
Hail Lobster. Oh wait, a moment, that's Richard Short. Not Richard, but Jordan Peterson. Okay.
With the pirate movies too, and then when Johnny Depp's like, let's do a more of a single story. It's like, okay, but Blackbeard's daughter and these mermaids. I was like, this is not very good. What's keeping it going though is Johnny Depp and then Barbossa, because Barbossa is just an important character in the Pirates movie. Without him, those films would not be as good. They just wouldn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I mean, you got the Johnny Depp estrogen brigade out there, which is nothing wrong with. I mean, women need their eye candy too.
Right.
I'm an equal opportunity. Give me my eye candy; they can have their eye candy. I know I'm not eye candy, so. It's like, okay, I'm gonna, I go to bed and I say, okay, honey, I'm gonna change. Wait a moment, let me put my mask on first. Okay, now you can do it. I mean. I mean, and that's just it. We like good stories. We like good heroes.
Yes.
I don't want to go out there and say, "Oh, that person's me." It's like, no. But you want to be able to identify with a hero on the screen or in a story by the fact that they're going through a struggle, and you can identify the struggle going through.
Yes.
And it helps sometimes you going through your struggles when you start seeing your heroes, even if they're fictional, imaginary heroes. Is somebody else bringing on a page or on the screen a way to deal with it?
Right.
That's what's important. Not that, oh, I want someone to represent me, an overweight, blue-haired land whale. I don't want that. I don't want someone representing me on the screen, unless of course they're the comedy sidekick, because I think there was a Plastic Man had a like fat stuff or whatever. A guy was his sidekick going around and his buttons were always constantly popping off. That's me. I don't want a hero like that. Keep it to a sidekick or something. And that is actually the important thing. Usually it's those sidekicks or other characters that are our eyes into that world. And they have to remember that too.
Yep.
And if that's going to be the eyes to the viewer in the world, it can't be myopic. It's got to be for everybody.
Exactly.
So when you say, I want to be...
Go ahead.
Oh, good. So go sit back saying, I want to be represented. You are. It's called the person who's the eye. It's for everybody. Quit being selfish, greedy, and pathetic.
Yeah, and stop thinking that there's never been strong female characters throughout film. I don't care what time period you think. Go and talk about North by Northwest. You're going to tell me that character wasn't strong? I'm just, it's just ridiculous to me. Like, you guys want to pick and choose this, or you want to say, oh, this character needs to be gay or trans. It's like, does it though? Like, that's not whatever the character was. So why don't you guys make another character that's gay or trans or whatever you want and make it interesting? But they want to throw stuff on a dartboard and they want to see what sticks. And it's like, well, what are you guys doing? A character like Storm, Jubilee, they're strong female characters. Mystique, she's a strong character.
Well, it's more
Baron, you mentioned heroes, and I know you and Cass are probably going to roll your eyes when I mention this, but think about the impact a character like Optimus Prime made.
No, it still made an impact.
Well, all I have to do is listen to the guy who does the voice, and
Peter Cole.
And how he approached that, and that's what made it important. That's why the character's so great.
His
took
own brother.
brother's advice.
Mm-hmm.
He was a Marine during Vietnam. He gave
Mhm.
him great advice. He said,
Right.
Peter, don't try to be one of those Hollywood heroes. Be a real hero. Be
Mhm.
kind enough to be gentle.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And he used that in Optimus Prime. Even, the lessons Optimus Prime would teach, when the character would say, well, why don't we just destroy him? And then Optimus would say, no, then we'd be no better than the Decepticons. We have
Right.
to figure
Right.
out another way.
Yes. We're no
Mhm.
better than them. There's teamwork. There was triumph. There was heart. I mean, even with Transformers, like there was problems, but they understood. They care about the humans that were around. There weren't many
Mhm.
in that area, of course, but there were a
Mhm.
few. And even if some character was in a wheelchair, it doesn't matter. Like their character was always so much more. This is what most people, it seems, in Hollywood, I would say the majority of them have forgotten. These characters are so much more than being in a wheelchair or having a disability or being a minority or whatever. They were just so much more than that. And they
Well, it's,
forget that.
well, it's
They
what
don't
you are,
care.
not
They don't
it's who
care.
you
It's
are,
their
not what you
arrogance.
are.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. It's their
Right.
arrogance again. Yes.
If you're going to identify yourself by a disability or gender or an ethnic group, whatever, well, then you're forgetting the most important thing: who you are.
Yep.
And you're going to be so sorely appointed and disappointing and boring if
Mhm.
that's the case.
Yep.
I mean, the thing is, what's great about like Transformers and stuff, these were our folklores, right?
Mhm.
What did Aesop fables and our folklores do? They tried to teach people how to be human, how to be good people, how to go out there and be decent people.
Mhm.
Whether it was trying to tell the kids that, or
Yes.
if it was trying to tell adults to remember that. I mean, look at the parables of Jesus Christ. Look at even Grimm's fairy tales. These are, there were warnings, there were lessons, there were admonishments
Mhm.
sometimes. And yeah, that's why these stories are so important. When you start taking those elements away for identity politics,
Yeah.
then these stories mean nothing,
Right.
not a thing. It escapes the individuality
Mhm.
for a hive think. If you're not part of our group, you're nothing. Oh, great.
Right.
Thank you, Borg Jr.
Yep.
Except the Borg had a lot more personality.
That's
You know,
right. Yeah, she
you know,
probably
the-
could.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Probably would.
Mhm.
We need more Ukrainian supermodels in action films. That's what
Yeah. Well,
um,
Ukrainian, Russian, Polish. I tell you, I watch these videos where they're doing walkthroughs these cities, and I was watching Krakow, Poland. It's like,
Hmm.
yeah, don't make fun of the Polacks no more. And I can say that because I'm Polish too. I got Polish in me. And it's like, don't make fun because oh my God, they had some beautiful women, and I'm sure there was a lot of eye candy out there for the women to see that were the male walking out there. I don't know. You know, I don't swing that way. I don't care.
Right.
one thing I did want to go back to is you mentioned Jonathan Majors earlier and not really wanting to go too deep into that subject matter until all of the facts were made
Mhm.
public. I used to co-host a show called Saturday Serial with Matt Allen over on his channel, and that was when the Rust shooting took place.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
this is before anybody knew what happened, any of the details behind what happened, and we made the conscious decision not to go into too much detail or to just say, okay, this happened. We don't know all the details yet. We're not comfortable reporting on it going any farther than that until more details began to become public. Then we
Mm.
could formulate a true opinion.
Mhm.
Matt has been on film sets. He knows all about safety and um, I don't want to say chain of evidence. That's not. But there, he knew there's a procedure when you have like firearms on the set or
Mhm.
anything that can be used as a
Mhm.
weapon. He knows
Yes.
all about that, so he could discuss it.
Yeah.
I've been on film sets, so I know a little bit about a little bit, you know.
Mhm.
But then that's when we felt more comfortable discussing it.
Mhm.
So that leads me to the question: is has there ever been a subject aside from the Jonathan Major situation where you thought, you know what, we could talk about it, but let's not for right now. Let's hold back. You know, is there like something on Pop Talk that you would not discuss, or any kind of subjects that you wouldn't touch for whatever reason?
I don't remember anything right off the top of my head.
Mhm.
And
I can't think of one topic or another topic that we said we are not going to talk about this at all, because
No.
we did touch on what happened on the Rust set,
Mhm.
Yeah.
and as
Well,
the
yes.
evidence started coming out,
Mhm.
we did make our statements as it was
Mhm.
coming out, and as you would start reading more and more things, you would try to
Mhm.
look at different sources. I know I was when I was looking for articles, I was trying to see, okay, is this source reporting the same thing?
Right.
Trying to do my
It's
homework.
Yep, and something like this was never supposed to happen again.
No.
And
Mhm.
once again, it doesn't matter if it looks like a gun. You don't point it at anybody. And
Mhm.
if you trust the armor, fine. But once again, you need to still test the gun for yourself. I mean,
Well,
look at
that's
all the
just it.
westerns that we had back in the day. Yes, we had that horrible situation. I know with the Crow, but this
Mhm.
was never supposed to happen again, and it did. And Alec Baldwin is an egomaniac dickhead. He just
Right.
he's a really good actor. He's been in a lot of really good films, but the guy can be an absolute douche.
Mhm. And the thing is the quote Reagan, trust but verify, and that's
Right.
what you have to be. My father, he was involved in basically 6-gun cowboy shoot 'em up stage shows out at a place called the Stagecoach here in Minnesota. And so, they're around obviously live ammo. Not only that, they were shooting wax blanks at them, so they could
Mhm.
tell if they got hit. I mean, that's
Yep.
crazy, right?
Yep.
And of course, I was brought up around firearms my entire life, so it's like
Mhm.
the first rule of uh, firearm safety is like never trust the safety, never trust the safety, never trust the safety. You
Right.
never point a weapon at
That's right.
anybody or
Exactly.
anything they don't intend on
Yep.
shooting.
Yep.
These are the important things. Uh, and even myself, when I was involved doing live steel combat, actually, obviously it's a little bit different area. But again, you have to have that, when you're swinging a 3 foot long steel blade, even if it is
Mhm.
dulled,
Yes.
it can still cause a lot of damage, and you got to follow the
Yes.
rules. I mean, accidents can happen.
Yep.
That goes without saying. No matter how careful you are, you can have an accident, but you don't need
Yep.
to be careless and cause the accident.
Yep.
Um, and
Mhm.
which is not an accident anymore; it's just negligence.
Yes.
Um, and I tried biting my tongue quite a bit on that one because I knew what I was hearing was so much bullshit coming from Alec Baldwin, just
Well,
so
yeah.
much.
I mean, especially that George Stephanopoulos interview. It's like, well, where's the follow-up questions, Georgie boy? Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that whole thing is just
Well,
started being ridiculous. And then you found
It
out
was suspect.
that
It
the
was
work,
suspect during
yep,
that interview.
and the
yeah,
workers were upset. And it's like, well, then this production should have been shut down before this all happened. There
it
was
could have
obviously
been.
a lot of problems.
Yeah,
And it's
I mean,
crazy that this actually was based on the video game, the MMO or whatever. I was like, really? That's crazy. But it should have been shut down. There was obviously a lot of problems, but it was Alec Baldwin's arrogance. And it's not just the fact that he was an actor on this; he was also executive producer. Well, that's
right.
a problem.
And
Yep.
he's worked with firearms before. This
Exactly.
isn't a new thing to him.
No.
He knows
No.
what the rules are.
Yes.
And and when he's doing that interview with a little Stephanopoulos, It's like his lawyer had to been banging his head on the desk because that's the one thing you never ever do.
Right.
And then when he's having going with all these elations when everyth's thrown out of the court in New Mexico, where I honestly thought they were going to hang him over there because that's the last thing New Mexico needed to do to hurt their film industry was this. But obviously, someone paid him off. And his reaction to it is like, there's no remorse. There's no nothing.
No.
I can understand a sigh of relief, but this is elation. You smarmy, soulless bastard. But yeah, you still have to keep yourself from saying too much because there's still libel, there's still slander until it's proven otherwise. And if you do shoot your mouth off, you're absolutely wrong. And someone catches wind, they can come after you, even if you're an itty bitty little YouTube channel. You still slandered and such. There might have been someone listening at that time, are referring back to you. You got to be careful about that. But that Alec Baldwin thing, he should be behind bars. He should be behind bars.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially for like at least manslaughter or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't think he did it on purpose. I'm not saying he did, but his arrogance and his carelessness led to these people dying. At least the one woman. Was it one? Yeah, it was one woman.
Yeah, it was the woman and the director got injured.
Right. It's horrible. It should have never happened. They should have shut down production, but his arrogance, caused all this problem. It's just that situation still pisses me off. That woman did not deserve to die. And it's just stupid bullshit.
And even the person who's handling the weapons on there, she should be kicked in the rump. I don't care if her father was a big time Hollywood armorer. You failed.
Exactly. Right. She was not. You can't just blame her for this. That's the easy way out. You need to blame yourself too, Alec, but he's not going to. Oh, it was horrible. It was a tragedy. Okay, I don't really believe you care that much. I really don't, Alec. I really don't.
Yeah, I got to stop you guys for a moment. Lady V Elements has to go, so I wanted to say good night to Lady V, and I will see you in the chats.
Night.
Have a good one, Lady V. Yep.
Don't dream of Alec Baldwin.
Yeah. If you ever meet Alec Baldwin, stand behind him.
Exactly. Serious.
I mean, I have seen. I agree everything you've said about Alec Baldwin. I think the guy's an arrogant prick. I've seen how he. I mean, we've all heard that tape of how he talks to his own kids.
Yeah.
We have
everything that Kim Basinger has said about him since their divorce makes more sense now. And I've seen how his brothers talk to people online. The arrogance that's there. And I think that's kind of a problem with Hollywood in general, is that they believe their press. They have been surrounded so long by yes men and people telling them they're brilliant, and it is getting away with some really heinous shit that's finally starting to come to light. And these are people who think, and I'm not just talking about Hollywood, I'm talking about politicians, I'm talking about academia, these people who have basically been kowtowed to, and they think they are above the law. They think they are above the rules that they want us to follow. I even did an episode about Baldwin and Jonathan Majors. I called it "Rules for Thee," because they get away with this stuff for so long. and they think that they can't be punished. Like, let's take Jonathan Majors, for example. Let's go back to him. If he were innocent, you would be expecting all of his friends to come to his side and say, "Oh, no, he's not like this," and this is the first we've heard of anything like this, and we don't believe it, and we stand by him. Nobody did that. In fact, all of the theater people that he used to work with in New York were like, "Hey, we've been saying this about him for years." And then Marvel goes and essentially pins an entire phase of films. This guy's going to be the next Thanos.
Right.
Yeah, the next Thanos, but Ant-Man's daughter took you out. Okay,
yeah.
Yeah, you got me running there, pal.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: I like Jonathan Majors in the movie Devotion.
Right.
Yeah, I never saw the movie, but
he's quite an actor. He has a lot of range, but it's just Disney, I guess, made a good call on this one. So
they did.
Well, I guess La La Land. I mean, it really is. I mean, we have people that live in an imaginary world for their life. They don't have any grasp of the real world around it.
Right.
That's why you have some of the people saying that they are leaving Hollywood that are actors and actresses and others, because they say that, no, we're tired of this imitation BS world. We want to live in the real world. We're tired of this because of all how fake it is. So yeah.
It's like I said it in my show tonight. These people hold no moral authority over you. They can call us ists and phobes all they want. And the other word that begins in N and ends with IS, they can throw that at us all they want. But in the end, they are the ones who are acting in that manner. They are the ones who want to censor everything. You know what? Having Hattie McDaniel sit in the kitchen with the help and having to walk from that kitchen to the podium to accept her Oscar. We're not the ones who put her in the kitchen. Hollywood, you're the ones who put her in that kitchen.
Right. I even sat back and said, too, it was during the big Red Scare and all that. It wasn't the government that put these actors and actresses and screenwriters and directors out of a job. It was Hollywood that did.
That's right.
Yep. The blacklists didn't come from the people. Hollywood did that to themselves.
Right. I mean, you had Joe McCarthy out there. And Joe McCarthy was right about a lot of them. A lot of these people were. The thing is, it wasn't illegal. These people weren't going to go to jail.
It's not illegal,
But the studio didn't want to deal with them, so they went off to like England or other places, changed the name, or they just laid low until it was time to come back out. But again, it was the studios.
Yes.
But the point is they come at us with there aren't enough blacks who get nominated for awards or win, or not enough Asians. And I'm like, what? The general public doesn't get to choose who gets nominated for awards or not. If it was up to us, believe me, it would be a very different list each year. But it's like, well, you got to do better, America, and like, no.
Yeah.
We don't get to choose. No. We are not members of the Academy. That's you. That mirror that you keep saying we need to look into, you need to do that yourselves.
You're right.
Because, and you realize you can't because of the stuff you people have hidden over the years. That's now finally starting to come to light. In between, graping one another, killing your wives, and starting cults, you have no moral authority over us.
No.
And I think
Not
they're
at all.
finally starting to realize, because we're hitting them into one place that they really care about, and that's in their wallets. And that's why you're seeing these big studios failing.
No, we
Why?
always take a look at the box office numbers on the Sunday edition of Pop Talk, and you're not seeing Hollywood making a lot of money with all these movies that are out there now. Not like they were, 6-7 years ago.
No.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of factors to it. And one, we've been force-fed pablum so much. People don't have the financial wherewithal to go out and see movies like they were able to. So they're going to wait for the streaming services, especially the fact that there've been so much pablum out there. It's like, do I want to really take a risk and go to this movie that's all it's going to do is insult me, talk down to me, and tell me how horrible I am?
Right, exactly.
Right.
And this was, I'm not speaking out here because I since Corner and I reviewed a movie this week called Origin, which was the animated movie. And if it wasn't for the fact that we had made the big deal out of the to review a movie, because it was a mystery movie, we had no idea what the movie was going to be. So, if it was the fact that we made a out of the fact that we were going to review the movie about it, so what movie was going to, we probably would walk out because it was so. This movie is a biopic, and there are so many factual inaccuracies from beginning to end in it, and so many half-truths and straight-up lies that are told. And during the review, this movie is communist propaganda. And it is blatant about it. This is the most.
I don't know if you guys have noticed he was roboting, man. He was. Yeah,
he was roboting. I thought it was my headset. I thought it was my headset.
I know.
I just switched out my headset because I thought my battery was going out. It's like, boy, my headset wasn't holding a battery charge, but I got a new one. I think they got him, folks. I think they got him. It's the special division of the movie police. Knocked down the door. There he is.
He's back.
He's running from them. He's getting away from them. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, StreamYard. Was it something I was saying? Anyway, long story short, that was to me the end. And I'll bring this up because I've mentioned this on other shows. I lost a very close friend over the Christmas holiday. And I'm in the middle of that grieving process right now. In the process of that, however, my tolerance for bullshit on any level, has hit an all-time low. And so I walk into this movie, and that was pretty much my, okay, Hollywood, the gloves are off. I'm done with you. If this is going to be the kind of movie that you're going to put out now, then I'm just going to tell people, don't go see this thing. If you're not Top Gun Maverick level or on the level of something like an Oppenheimer, I'm not going to tell people to go see it.
Right.
I'm going to continue to review movies. I like movies. I don't love them anymore, but I'm going to continue to go because that's part of what my channel does. I review film, and I'm going to continue to do that. But my personal rating system has kind of changed. in the past week. I'm rethinking how I look at film, not just because of the propaganda, but also because, I can't really say that you should wait for streaming to see a movie if I already waited for streaming to see a movie, so that plays into it too, Well, I thought that was really a good movie for a streaming movie. What? Oh, it's already on a streaming service. Well, shit, one-stop shopping, I am not ready to put these people up on pedestals that they haven't earned. Mm-hmm. They call Tom Cruise the last remaining movie star. And I think he gets it. Because I remember him saying something in an interview years ago that made me kind of sit up and take notice. And he said, people expect a certain quality of film from me.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And if I let them down, they are going to let me know it.
Right.
Yes.
And I went, he gets it. At least one person in Hollywood who gets it.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish more of them had that attitude. Instead, we've got the Mark Ruffalo's and the Brie Larsons and the Rachel Ziegler's, and I don't feel like sitting through anything that these people do anymore. I really don't.
Oh, no.
If Anna DuVernay is going to make a movie that's going to insult half the audience of that movie that I watched got up and left at some point during the course of the movie. Because why sit there and watch a movie that tells you how evil you are?
Right.
This is a movie that actually says that the Jim Crow laws of the South and the Jim Crow laws in the South inspired Nazi Germany. They say that in the film.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're ignorant.
Yeah.
And lying, or both.
And lying. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The movie opens with the shooting of Trayvon Martin. Because the lead character's approach to write an article about it, and that's how she kind of starts off on this whole odyssey that she goes on. But the thing about that is it's not what really happened that night between Trayvon Martin and George Zimmerman. It is the version that the press put out there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Even going so far as to playing the edited 911 tape that made Zimmerman sound guilty, that we all now know is doctored.
Mm-hmm.
They used that in the film.
Yeah. And it did turn out that Zimmerman was a little bit crazy and he probably should have stayed in the car. But once again, we were not there. We don't know exactly the whole situation. So.
We don't know the whole situation, but right now, the way they're doctoring, the phone call and everything else, it's a propaganda piece.
Yeah.
Right. And it throws doubt on everything.
Right. And
yeah.
It's the same with the Michael Brown thing. And Kerry Washington said, "Oh, I'm so sad." I'm like, are you just saying this to look for attention, or do you actually care about this? That's always the question with Hollywood, especially lately. Or when they said, "Oh, we're cleaning up our industry." Are you really, Laura Dern? Are you cleaning up your industry? Are you sure about that?
Yeah. We remember The Last Jedi. Shut up.
Yeah.
And she can act, but I didn't like her.
It says that she and Sam Neill, they shouldn't have been in the relationship.
Oh gosh.
But they were in Jurassic Park because of the age difference. It's like, oh, please, Laura, you enjoyed making the movie when you made it.
Yeah.
And now you're just trying to stay relevant by saying this is bad.
And what if it was the reverse? What if it was an older woman with a younger man? Would anybody care? No.
Right.
Well, that's what you have now. I mean, Madonna has her toy boys. Cher has her toy boy. Everyone was going out there and attacking Leonardo DiCaprio about dating 20-year-olds and how horrible that is. Well, there's a larger age gap between Cher and her boy toy. So it's like, but you're not saying anything about that. I have no problem if some young guy wants to hang around and have that beef jerky called Cher, go right ahead. It doesn't bother me. That's that guy's decision. If a younger woman wants to have an older man to hang around with, fine, great. It's not my business.
Is the person legal age? Then who cares?
That's all I care about.
It's their life. Let them live their life.
Right. I mean, enough of that already. It's like, but you're outraged for the one, but you won't be the other way. Let's say it's going to be both ways or no way.
Nope.
But it's always double standards, especially in Hollywood.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and movements and such like that. Right. Yes. I mean, I'm a proud member of a movement that just wants to have good entertainment. And
yeah, exactly.
I don't think, and I think with that, I don't think we have a double standard in that. Yeah, yes. And with that, I mean, all it is okay. I didn't like this one. It didn't like that. That's different. It's taste. But when you're going out there and trying to dictate my life off of a double standard, go pound rocks. Exactly. Go fluff your muffins. I don't care. Just go away. Don't go away mad. Just go away. No, it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. All that stuff.
That's right.
All right. And speaking
of, hit you on the keister on your way out.
Indeed. And bugger off, you bloody bastards, as Jedi Bill's closing song always says. All right. Well, since we have reached closing time here, I did want to go ahead and start wrapping things up, but I didn't want to let you guys go without having any final thoughts. Mike, if you would like to start.
Well, I want to thank you for inviting the three of us to join you tonight. I really appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed myself. I can't speak for Cash and Baron. I'll let them speak for themselves. But I enjoyed myself.
It was like pulling teeth without Novocaine. It was like sitting on a bed of nails. I mean, it was like someone putting their nails across the chalkboard. That's what. No. No, it was fun. It was great being here, and I thank you so much for having me here, Mike here, and even Cash. Even though he was playing,
we're happy Baron made an appearance. We were worried he's going to be passed out with Cheetos on his mouth and stuff. Yeah,
I almost was really. I mean. I tried not to eat on the air. If I did, I tried to turn the mute on. So, but yeah. It's like, oh, wait a minute. Oh, I was sitting on one of the Cheetos. No wonder why I was feeling funny there. Okay. Not bad.
All right. So, what is coming up in the future for Pop Talk? How do you see Pop Talk going in 2024?
I see it growing. I see the special guest segments, still being a thing on Pop Talk. I appreciate you taking time out of your Wednesday to join us. And I'm looking forward to finding more guests for a Wednesday or a Sunday on Pop Talk. And I've told this to Baron and Cash, and I've even mentioned it on one prior stream. If for some reason someone can't make it on a Wednesday or on a Sunday, I'd be more than willing to record their episode and have it stream on a Wednesday or a Sunday.
But that's like work.
But this is fun work, Baron.
Oh, okay.
Behave yourself, Baron. Or no cookies, I told you.
No cookies. I got cookies in the cabinet. I don't care.
You sure about that?
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna say, oh, I see Pop Talk getting to, the heights of Friday Night Tights. No, they're in a league of their own.
Right.
They are.
Yeah, and
But-
they tackle things different than we do.
Mm-hmm.
But I do see Pop Talk growing.
Yes.
And part of that process is me keeping my feet on the ground, firmly on the ground, and my head on my shoulders, and not sticking my head up my keister too far up where I can't see straight.
That's right.
And making sure I behave.
Well, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And in fact, I was warned behind the scenes to actually maybe consider not bringing you on tonight because I understand that you cause problems wherever you go, and it's just
I do, yeah.
I can't.
I would have been hurt.
I can't have that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been hurt. I would gone. Yeah, he gets it.
It causes more problems than Mike and I. It's crazy.
I know. Well, that's what you pay me the big bucks for. That's why I get 2 cents a month, not unlike Cash, who only gets 1.
Barrett's the problem child of 3.
He is.
I am.
He's like, come on, do stuff. He's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? And we're like, Baron, no.
Hey, come on,
No.
come on, put your tongue in the flagpole. Come on, it's really neat.
I mean, it was like earlier when we were using it in Rumble Studio and Barrett's all, you like to ramble, you like to just dive in head first for stuff when we're trying out a new streaming software, whether it be Talk Studio or Rumble Studio. It's like, no, I'm gonna try to do my due diligence to see what the software or the web browser is all about, or the web streaming based service is all about, before I jump in head first.
Mm-hmm.
Boring.
And this is where I would have booted him on Pop Talk.
Yes.
So speaking of which, what's coming up this week for the show?
Well, we're definitely going to talk about more pop culture and entertainment news. What exactly? I don't know yet. I'll look through the articles tomorrow and Tuesday before my game stream and decide what we're going to talk about. And then after my game stream, I will actually schedule Wednesday's Pop Talk.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it is a thing, like I said earlier, where we share different articles. You want to talk about this on Wednesday or Sunday? Look at the headline. Excuse me. And say, yeah, we can talk about this. Or, no, I don't want to talk about that.
I don't want to talk about that. Cash suggested it. Well, just look at. No, I don't want to talk about it, Cash. Yeah. But I mean, like one of the examples, just the other night, I let Mike know that Tracy Torme passed away a couple of days ago, and he didn't hear about it. So that was on one of the topics that we had tonight, or I mean, not today, but earlier yesterday. We have to see yesterday now. So it's constantly evolving. So to sit back, unless it was a special guest, it's like we really don't know what we're talking about. The long suffering asks, "Oh, what are you talking about tonight?" I don't know. we'll know when we get there. It's we know things can change so fast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now there is something I do try to do for each and every episode of Pop Talk, whether it's the Sunday or Wednesday edition, is I do put the links in the description. So if anybody wants to see what we're talking about, just look at the description and you'll see the links to the articles that are in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've done since the beginning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he told me that not too long ago. He goes, Barry, I put that in the description. It's like, I don't care. I don't want to see that. I want to be completely, utterly. I want to be that spontaneous about what we're talking about myself. I mean, obviously, you need to know it because you're the one. It's your show, and you're putting it all together. But I want to be as real as possible. And
Well, it's like when I told you during the time where I wasn't going to be on Pop Talk, this is where you can find all the articles that I've listed. I let you know that they're in the description, so all you had to do was copy and paste them, and you were all set.
Yep. Then we have to raise the pirate flag again. So
They do like to do that. They do like to do that
Mhm.
when I'm not there. And one thing that we do is we give each other a hard time. If Cash isn't there, we
Yes.
give him a hard time. Baron's not there, we give him a hard time. I'm not there, they give me a hard time.
Yeah. It's our show.
But we have a lot of fun, and I sincerely hope that there's growth for a lot of us in 2024. I hope there's growth for you, Steven, in 2024.
I hope so. I'm going for 500, and I've had people tell me you can get there by summer. I hope so. We'll see. I did make it past 300, so I've hit that milestone.
Nice.
And there will be a 300 subscriber celebration. So stay tuned to my community page for date and time. So that's in the works. Yeah. All right. Baron and Cash Money, do you have anything coming up on your channels, non Pop Talk related?
Saturday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. We are Babylon 5 stream discussion. This coming up week now will be, I don't see us not, but finishing up season 3. Be like the 5th part now. We've been in there, but a lot of stuff happens in Babylon 5 this season.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get through that, and then look at getting to season 4. And that's the big thing I got going on mine. And I hope to start doing my own shorts, short videos again. And I'm still trying to plot and plan bringing back what I was doing before, repackaging it slightly. So.
All right.
That's it. I'm boring.
And it's boring. Yeah. I've got some gaming streams coming up because it's something I did enjoy when I did it on Twitch, and I'm enjoying on YouTube, and going to be doing more stuff on Rumble, and want to do some panel shows. But it's like I'm just waiting to see if there's some other stuff I'm interested in. And there will be some things. There'll be some movies, but right now I'm just doing gaming streams. Like Deleted, we're doing usually at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mike and I and Baron, and if somebody else joins us, we're gonna do a game. If we're playing Dark Tide, or we're gonna try to play next week Among Us, and just that. And then if I'm not doing those streams, I'm working on finishing some game. Like I'm getting close to finishing Ratchet and Clank. I want to finish that next week, and then I want to start playing Dishonored because I never finished that.
Hey, Cash, I'm the imposter.
I know. But and people, as long as they're cool, they're welcome to join as the fourth person. And Mike and I, we finished all of with Baron's help and Paul's help, and I think that was pretty much it.
I thought there was one other person.
There might have been one other person actually for a little while. But we finished all of Broforce, and that was an accomplishment. Mike and I finished Streets of Rage 4, right? Yeah, Streets of Rage 4. That was fun. We're working on playing or finishing River City Girls 2. Yeah.
Won't you come out tonight? Come on.
Not those kind of River City Girls.
But basically, right now, Deleted, the channel has been mostly gaming streams, but that will change again. So I want to always expand. with the Phantom Hooligans.
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 Willigans, man.
Um,
All right.
mhm.
Just to let everybody know what I have coming up Tuesday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, will be the next episode of Live from Sparkwood and 21. It is a Twin Peaks retrospective series.
Nice.
That I am co-hosting with Troy Pacelli, Netters Network, and Aged Boomer. And we are going to be discussing the third episode of season 2, entitled "The Man Behind the Glass."
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear you get a damn good cup of Joe on those broadcasts.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that moves over to Thursday afternoon at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'm going to be joining Jedi Bill for Action Theater, and we're going to be watching True Lies.
Very good film.
It is.
Right. And next Sunday, I'm going to be joining Bill again for Western Cinema Presents, and we're going to be talking about the Oxbow incident. And since that movie is now public domain, we might actually get to show it live without getting the channel needed.
That would be awesome.
Right. And then later on that night, at 9 p.m., I am going to be a guest on Geeky Geezers, hosted by Aged Boomer and Troy Pacelli. And I'm going to do a segment on the Oscar nominations. Because despite what I think of present-day Hollywood, I tend to be pretty good at guessing who wins the damn thing. So we're going to be talking about it. And, of course, Unscripted will go on as usual. No topic yet, but by then you'll know. And, of course, I'll be back for the other side of midnight. All right. I would like to thank everyone who is in the chat. Troy, Jedi Bill, Bucky's Crafting, Lady V Elements, Jesse Guajardo, Jacob Fox, The Padawannabe, Christine Hurt, Connie Cleary, Emotionally Unstable Amphibian, DJ Ronnie G, Phil McCracken, Dulcim Marist, and Sashi. And please forgive me if I missed anyone along the way. And of course, I want to thank everyone who was watching on my Twitter feed, and anyone who was lurking in the background, because there's always a few. As long as you don't have to engage with the chat, that's quite all right. Just as long as you enjoyed the show. Hit the like, share the streams. We were also simulcasting on Baron's channel and on Mike's channel. So, thank everyone from there. All right. Any final words, gentlemen?
Well, I know this is like you were saying this is like the Art Bell overnight show and all that. I didn't get a chance to talk about my UFO conspiracy theories. And
I'll go for it. There are 10-foot aliens running around Miami.
In Miami.
Flying jellyfish. Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yes. We got to love those jellyfish ships.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to thank you again for inviting us to join you tonight.
It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much. Yeah, for putting up with me.
Oh, thank God he's gone.
He catches on fast.
That warms my heart. That warms my heart.
My reputation grows.
And this is where somebody from Pop Culture Minefield would tell you to shut the F up, Aaron.
Yeah, pretty much.
No, I just say F you. Just F you, Baron. F you. F you, Baron.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all once again for watching. We will be back next week for another episode of The Other Side of Midnight. And as I always say, there we go. From HQ in all points, north, south, east, and west. Good night. Take care. Stay strong, because this is how we win.